Hello, I'm Hogne, Chief Product Developer in Ecology. And today we invite you to listen to the description of the fantastic Ecology Collagen Booster product. And today it will be Erik-Alexander Richter and myself trying to explain you a little about this product and why this product is in fact an innovative, another innovative step within the ecology product portfolio. So, why does the body need collagen? If we look into the next slide, we see that collagen seems to be all over the place. And Erik, why do the body need collagen? And what is the meaning with this first rather complicated slide?
Well, probably otherwise we would have 39 billion single cells not forming a body, a shape, a model, and keep all the organs and stuff fixed at the right location and to make sure the skin attaches to the lower layer. Everything literally is glued together with one of the whatever 28 different types of collagen we have discovered so far. And there is more and more and more knowledge coming out on this collagen stuff because it is like it's a building brick, as we like to call it, but that's even a simplified name. It has so many different functions and it's determined on wherever you find it, be that in the gut, in the skin, in the heart, in the muscle, in the joints, in the bone, in the you name it, it's everywhere.
Yeah, and Erik, people are extremely focused to look young and look beautiful, and one of the main user area for collagen is that the skin should look beautiful and young.
Yeah, but
But
that's the end
but you
result.
know that yeah, but you know that there are some elements that definitely need to be in place if using collagen product should have any effect at all on the skin. And I know you have done a lot of teaching around this gut skin connection. So please say a little about that. Why it's okay to have not only okay, but it's important to have a functional gut in order to look beautiful.
Well, very simple is if you eat meat or if you take a collagen product, it always enters via the mouth and you can inject it, but that doesn't last for very long. So it gets into the gut in the stomach, in the duodenum. And the trick, what we do obviously, is we take very, very small, we call it peptides. So there's only like 2 or 3 amino acids long. The absorption is excellent, but it starts to work in the gut. And the gut skin connection is simple. Almost all diseases start in the gut, even the ones on the skin. If you have like acne down here, then for sure you know something is wrong in the gut. So if we can make sure the gut works excellent in the best possible shape and we add the right nutrients, then a lot of things start to happen. If you let me, well, I take the big one here. So I have a skin model here, okay? And this is the epidermis. It's about this, is in this case, the thickness of my finger, but in reality, in your face, it'll be like 0.1. And here you can see a little bit of this what we call a papillary layer down here. And that's where you can find the smallest capillaries in the skin, so to transport oxygen and nutrients. But you can see the same on this right circle here. The phylus, that's one finger, phylli is plural, and you can see all these little capillaries in there, and that's where the absorption of the nutrients happened. But you can also see in this circle that the blue and red line, that's the capillaries, and then the space on the side, and I'll now show you the opposite, so to say. That's what we call a crypt. So here with the number 1 on the left side, that's where we have the stem cells. And if this crypt is well formed, if you look accurately, you can see on the outside, so on the lower part, starting at the 2 down there, you can see this little bluish kind of line. and that's collagen. So the collagen in the gut is extremely important to keep the shape of these crypts. So if this is a crypt, then you have the finger, and then the next crypt and the finger, and that's all over. You got millions and millions of those. But if I lack the collagen, and we see that nowadays a lot, for example, people with a vegan lifestyle, there is no such thing. They promote it, but there is no such thing as vegan collagen. So if you don't eat real meats or skin from whatever, a cow, pig, chicken, whatever, a fish, of course, then you cannot continuously rebuild it. Again, the number one, those are stem cells. They are renewing each other at a constant basis. So once this flexible crypt, but with still enough support from the collagen, if this collagen disappears because we simply don't eat it anymore, we go to the next image here, the aberrant crypt, and it starts to deform. And now you can imagine that in these lower endings, almost looks like a bit like a foot, and then where the toes are, that's like a dead end. So now you start to trap food in there, which is not anymore into the circulation, and you will damage the cells. You will get, they start to deteriorate the food, produce gases and stuff. You can find out if you go to the toilet, but it will also influence the quality. And from there, now things start to become problematic, because if this goes away, here at the part B in the left lower corner, you can find the fibril collagen type 1, 2, and 3 around these crypts. But if that collagen disappears, first we get sick, and then you may even develop the opposite, which is called the fibrosis. And now this whole crypt is distorted, and you may develop inflammatory bowel disease or ulcerative colitis. And then it is absolutely impossible to have a healthy skin, because the collagen just enters here, and from here on it will be distributed all over the body. Does that make sense so far?
Yes, and I think definitely, Eric, that this tells us that you can take all kind of very healthy nutrients. You can spend a lot of money on these things, but if we then don't have a well-functioning gut, as you talked about, then the absorption will be minimum. So what's coming into the body and then should work in the skin and in the rest of the tissue would be very minimum compared to the other things. And at the same time, you also say that if collagen is not there, that it should be in the gut, then we really will have diseases and are ready to develop more diseases, a function in the gut that then can even go into inflammatory bowel disease, cancer, and so on. So when we then, before we start to talk about the skin, the bowel, the gut need to be in place, and then we can see how collagen works in other tissues.
I used to work with an ultrasound scanner, so you could check any location, the thickness, and everything. So what we used to do is in the arm, and then took this line here. So that's always the same line, and then I can scan that. I can see, is the product working. Now with some of my customers, it wasn't working, so they said must be something wrong with the product. But with other people, it worked fantastic. Okay, so now here's the question: what was wrong? So I motivated her to keep on using this product for, I think, maybe 8 months. And then after 8 months, so what she started with is what you can see here on the left again. You can see the grayish kind of shapes of the cells. Those are fibroblasts. So by feeding her tons of collagen, which is basically it's a nutri-cosmetic. So that's a nutritional supplement with the intention to improve the cosmetic appeal. But it always starts in the gut. And if now the gut gets back the collagen and these crypts get their shape back again, and on the right side in this circle, you can see to tighten those cells, you need some zinc, some vitamin C, you need anyway, otherwise you can't form collagen, some vitamin D. Now you can see the picture more complete. Once you solve the problem in the gut, now the rest of the body is open for more. So, the crypt, you can see they're restored now on the right bottom picture. The fingers are sticking up straight again. So now the food goes in and out. It is digested, is it absorbed well? But therefore, it's important to eat foods like this. And if you're vegan for whatever reason, animal cruelty, that's fine. But there is no vegan collagen. It's impossible. So eat at least a collagen product from like the resource what we use, because is certified collagen from cod, which is basically lost biomass, like the intestinals we use for the best oil. So it's very sustainable. We're not killing animals just for the collagen, obviously, but that could be the best alternative, I would say.
Hmm. Yeah. And then you already have touched upon it, the function of collagen, but this is really the glue in every tissue to let not only the cells work internally and fill up. We know that 1/3 of the proteins in the body, in
Yes.
fact, is collagen. So of course it has an important role inside the cells, but even more in the extracellular area, in the area between cells, their collagen are so important. So when, for example, people have problems with the joints and with their muscles, and they feel stiff and they are not so flexible as they should be, lack of collagen and the lack of the right type of collagen is one of the explanations. So
Yeah,
therefore, again, yeah.
yeah, we break it down. So basically, the collagen within the cell is there because it is built up. So collagen is a quite complex molecule. We call it a triple helix. So with the product we already have had, the powder, these are collagen peptides. So they are broken down with very unique enzymes, otherwise it doesn't work, lost the function. Now the cells, the fibroblast, absorb these little tiny peptides. They get motivated, stimulated to produce new molecules, which is this triple helix, total roughly a 1,000 amino acids with a tail and a front end. That's excreted out of the cell into what you just mentioned, the extracellular matrix. That's why it becomes functional. Then enzymes cut off the front and the end part. That's going to be reused for later. And now these, we call it self assembly. But this whole process only works if you build up more than you break down. And that's what we can see here. Aging, not necessarily, but yes, we become a little bit less functional. Smoking is killing us because it takes away the vitamin C. And without vitamin C, collagen is impossible. Okay. That's why people who smoke a lot have more wrinkles, because they have more breakdown than rebuilding, because they break down, and the building up again, also with an unhealthy diet, is impossible. Free radicals, you go in too much in the sun, and the sun is really important for your health, but too much is too much. It's always a U shape. No sun is bad. A little bit is very good. And then, too much. So, and then too much sun may cause inflammation, but that alcohol does the same, and eating sugars does the same, and taking medicine does the same. So, this
Mm.
in modern life now, I mean, Hogne, when you were a kid, you were eating fish all the time with the skin and with everything. But today, what we see is that once we are born with a certain amount of collagen, and today, not in the early days, but today we start to just lose a little and a little and a little. So I'm here now. If I would have never taken these nutri cosmetics for the last, guessing, 15 years, I would be here at my age. But I use collagen, maybe not every day, but I would say the majority of the days, just to make sure I'm not here, but probably here. I'm not 20 anymore, and that's fine. But and you can compensate for the loss of collagen. The elastin is way more complicated, and the hyaluronic acid. But we'll talk about that later.
But I think this picture also definitely says that this is not only a problem when you got old. Already in the 20s, we see that the production of collagen in the healthy cells in the fibroblast is reduced. But so we can help then by securing the right building bricks to build up the different types of collagen we need. And then we have seen the food sources important, but even more to have then more or less half digested collagen building bricks, what we have in our products, will help us to stay with a high concentration in the cell and intracellularly with in the
Extracellular
body.
matrix.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
this is a little wrap up. So as you mentioned, 1/3 of the proteins in the body is collagen. You just saw the list how to destroy it. That means you age faster. And then if I destroy it and you talk about what's the function, then we talk about function loss. This is one of the reasons if women get into them beyond the menopause, the bones get less strong because they lack the collagen. You can see it in the hand. This is the best test. If you can take this up and you can almost look through it, that's how thin the skin is. Then you have a very high risk for osteoporosis. You can see it on the outside on the hand, and it starts with a healthy gut. So this is a very trick, easy way to check how you're doing on the collagen. But we are the company to make lives better. So what do we do to improve the collagen levels?
Yeah, yeah. No, and I think this is to stay young forever is not possible.
It's
So
difficult.
every
No.
year comes, but then the healthy lifestyle is what we will then stimulate people to, and then also let you know more about why collagen products is a part of that healthy lifestyle. Yes.
And the stimulation is the running part, is the physical exercise, is the whatever you do physically, and not just think, yeah, whatever, I get old, forget it. But that's what it is. And I honestly, I have to say that I love it the way the company now organizes these runs and stuff, and because we should be, reflecting the effect of our products and our lifestyle. So let's go back to very basic. Okay,
Yeah. And
how the
then
body produces.
yeah, and if I take this just to again say that we do not digest or eat collagen in huge molecules, and then suddenly these huge molecules pops up inside the cell. It
No.
is small pieces. It's broken down in our product with a proprietary enzyme mixture that is just made for ecology to have the right building bricks. And again, that will not only secure that the manufacturing things in the fibroblast and inside the cells really will make more collagen, but also that we cross bind them and make this triple helix. So collagen is not collagen. It also need to be bound together to have the strength and even help us, especially for muscles, for tendons, and so on, to see that they are strong and then help the strong bone to work together. Will you say something more here, Erik, around that?
One maybe add one thing. There's one ingredient what is in our powder and not in the new product, and that's MSM. And MSM is sulfur. So these little grayish lines you see on the strong, healthy connective tissue, that's the vitamin C. Otherwise, you cannot even
Yeah.
produce the triple helix. But we
Mm.
also have these so-called sulfide bonds. That's the binding of one molecule to the next, to the next, to the next. So
Mm.
I recommend to have the best effect is always take the powder, and for certain periods, but we'll get back to that later, take the additional shots for extra collagen, extra vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, and more. Okay. So
Good.
the reason is why we don't produce so much is because we're no longer that physical active, because that's too much work. Well, why would we do this stuff if we can have an electric bike or whatever? And we also stopped eating like soup, like bone broth. So that's the best. That's a bovine collagen, very strong. You need about double the amount of what we use from fish oil, but it was good. We ate a lot of that. But you can also make the fish soup, so that's even more effective. Or from chicken skin. There's many sources, but they have to be from animal. So if I eat this kind of soup, I recommend people to do it because it's really healthy. That's much more than just collagen. Um, but they don't want to do every day. So all the other days, take the product. But now what we do is the gut becomes healthy first on the left side. And then once that's done, then it will distribute the collagen to all the different things. And now, in some cases that took very long, this older lady with 8 months, sometimes you can measure it within weeks or a month. Now we can find back the collagen in the cartilage, in the bone, in the nails, everything gets strong. In the bone, it also takes a while, but in the skin, you can see it. The nails and the hair goes faster. And there is no collagen in there, but the building blocks are equal. There is many sources. The soup, the bone broth is the bovine, chicken, marine collagen. We now know that you need about half the amount for the same effect versus bovine. But without C, it doesn't work. Without hydrolyzing, it doesn't work. That's why we have the optimal enzymes in there. And then to make it complete, and I think that's unique in this product we have now, is the add-on of the hyaluronic acid. Right?
That's right.
So,
And yeah, and we are also, I know that you listening to this are familiar with that it's different types of collagen. And the majority of collagen is still this collagen type 1 that is important when we talk about skin, very important for both epidermis and dermis, the outer layer of the skin, as Erik just have shown you. But it's also important to know that when we take over small collagen building bricks, the body is able then to use these building bricks to build whatever specific type of collagen we need in different tissues. But the collagen type 1 is the most important, and again, it will stimulate the manufacturing of these collagen type in every cell by taking the products we have. And Erik has just focused that this doesn't come alone. We need all these facilitating minerals. We need vitamin C. We need other things in order to have a function, and that this should work.
So the cross section here, the epidermis doesn't have collagen, so it doesn't make sense to rub collagen on the outside of the skin. That's a bit nonsense. The same with the hyaluronic acid. But the epidermis is connected to the dermis with a specific type of collagen. And then where you see the blue word dermis, that area, that's where you can find most of the collagen. So in the top layer, it's a bit more loose like this, and in the lower layer it's also got reticular collagen. It's a bit different shape, but it's kind of the same molecule. So now let's chat a little bit about the hyaluronic acid, because see, this is like a very simplified model of collagen I can see here. So if you look at this model again, if we can see that, so the white bubbles down there is like the fat, the fat underneath the skin, and the epidermis is on top, and then this is like pillars. The collagen, it's really a bit of an different direction, but just to give you a little bit of idea, without the hyaluronic acid, these pillars, they would be like this, okay? Because the support, the volume in the skin, that doesn't come from collagen. The strength of the skin comes from collagen, and that the fact that the skin remains on the jawline, like the gravity problem goes down, that's either enough or a lack of collagen. But the volume, the youthful look, which is very difficult, the older we get, now we have a lot of water in there. But if we get older, we little by little we lose the amount of water, which is a direct effect on the thickness of the dermal layer, which is only 1 millimeter. But the volume, that's determined by the hyaluronic acid.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah. And this is a very important point, because okay, collagen is the glue to bind together tissues, the extracellular matrix, and also work inside the cells. But the next picture, that is very simplified, just tells us, but proteins, bones, minerals still represent a very small part of the body. It's water in there. It's water to be in every tissue. It's water between the layers in the cell membrane. It's water inside the cells. It's water in the extracellular matrix. So therefore, the body is made that fantastic that we have this, among other things, hyaluronic acid, that is a water binding agent, water binding molecule. And the body has normally, when you are young, sufficient amount, I will say. You, Erik, talked about, was it 15 gram altogether in the body?
about
Yeah.
15 gram we have, and this keeps the water at the right location. So it makes kind of a gelatin. The molecule is a very long and complex molecule, and it attracts water and makes a gel. So you got a damping effect. So it's if you run or you move, it's makes things smooth and not wear and tear. At our age, we probably only have like 30 or 40% left. And the older you get, the least. And why is that? There's 15 grams of hyaluronic acid. So 1 gram can hold about 500 to 1000 grams of water. So a 500 to 1,000 times more water than the weight of the molecule. That you have
Mhm.
to remember. But if
Yeah.
the 15 grams during the aging process becomes 14 and 13 and a half and 13 and so on, then we start to lose the binding capacity. And that's even if you drink plenty of water, it will never be the 60% unless you add additional hyaluronic acid into the diet or in a product like we have.
Mhm.
And then that's also the reason if we start to lose the water in the skin or in the body in general, we also lose the water in the joints. So this is the knee, and this joint, the cartilage is made from collagen, and it has a lot of chambers in there developed, and these are filled with hyaluronic acid and therefore with water. But if I get older and I lose the amount of water within the joint, within the cartilage, now at a certain point, these two bones start to rub together. Now you have wear and tear, and it's going to hurt, and you will have inflammation, and that's when the real breakdown starts. So, this hyaluronic acid can rescue you from trouble in your back, from joint problems, all that. And if that's all done, and the good news is you don't even walk more supple, but you also look much better,
Mhm.
because
But,
then,
and Eric, I think you had the excellent picture with the running shoes. That
yeah,
it's just recently that the Adidas, Nico, and all these big companies have
right,
realized that to have a gel inside is much better than to have air inside,
yes,
and the body has found that out millions of years ago. So this hyaluronic acid is in fact one of the agents that is so important for all these joint elements, for the skin, for the moisturing of the skin, for to have the right amount of water and don't be dehydrated and have a health problem associated with too little water inside the cells. But that is
and around the cells.
yeah, and I have to say also that when we are looking into skincare, that is one part of this. Then the most expensive creams or whatever they contain this hyaluronic acid. And Eric, do you think this is a good idea to have the hyaluronic acid from the outside? What do you think?
It's if again this outer layer is supposed to be waterproof, otherwise you will drown by taking a shower, right? So whatever you rub on the outside, unless it's fat soluble, and hyaluronic acid is the exact opposite, it will never penetrate. So if you are in a moist environment, okay, very high humidity, and you rub some hyaluronic acid here, then it will take the moist molecules out of the air, and then you say, oh, okay, my skin doesn't feel dry. But if you are in the winter time and your heating is on and your temperature of the humidity of the room is only like 40 or 50%, now the hyaluronic acid will still attract water, and that comes from the inside out. So it feels better on the outside, but you get dehydrated. This dehydration women can see on the décolleté, and you can see the fine lines in all directions. Okay, it's not just one line because that's a lack of elastin, but it is the lines in different dimensions, the directions, and that is really the lack of water, and those desperately need more hyaluronic acid to bind it in the inside and not pull it to the outside. So I think this is why we make this good evolution. The first anti-age collagen we had was very good, but to make sure everybody benefits from it, we had the launch of the Marine Collagen Premium Plus with so many more minerals and more vitamin C, and to make sure nothing can go wrong. So now the collagen production was covered. And now to make sure that we have the volume in the collagen, that's why our third generation collagen booster, but it's also a volume booster, so to say. If you
Mm.
take a ton of collagen, just eating it, you won't see much difference in the skin, to be honest, within 10 days. But it is the hyaluronic acid what actually builds up. So the hydration in the skin, it's just a week. Okay, that already goes up by 22.6%. So if you have something important going on and you want to look your best, or because next week or the week after you have some whatever important event going on and you want to look your best, just take this stuff one if you want. I don't care. Take two a day, but you will boost the volume and you can take years of your face just in a week. I mean, if that's not anti-aging, I don't know what is, because it's not camouflaging. It really does the job, and that's really fascinating.
And I think that to explain then the difference between the Marine Collagen Premium Plus and the Booster Collagen, it is that both the products contain the high quality hydrolyzed collagen that really will build up the collagen, let the cells produce that. But for the booster, it's the hyaluronic acid that will make this difference. And I think, as we discussed before this program, Eric, that then you will say, and I will say, oh, what's happening? Is it like that, that if I have enough hyaluronic acid, that perhaps the skin and the tissue in the body will be even better if I use this booster on a continuous base? And we had some discussion around that, and the knowledge is that hyaluronic acid, normally if you take it at one time, it may circulate for up to 3 days in the body. So if people would like to have this more long-term effect of the hyaluronic acid in the product, what would you say, Eric? What should be the ideal way to let the body take advantage of the hyaluronic acid on a more permanent way?
My guess would be, remember I talked about the collagen loading with the last time. So take more of the powder for the first month, a little bit less the second month, and then continue with a daily dosage. That's about the same idea with this product. But I would say take a full month of the regular collagen product we have, the Premium Plus. Add this, maybe one vial every day. So your hyaluronic acid level comes back up to optimum, whatever possible for your age. Okay, it gets the optimum level, and then just continue with the powder. And I would honestly say take a box per month, so 10 of these vials, and take one every 3 days, day 1, day 4, day 7, and so on. Why is that again? Because this turnover time of all the hyaluronic acid is about 3 days. It's 15 grams in the body, and it's about 3 days. So every time, it's, of course, it's not, it is a continuous basis. But if every third day I add some new hyaluronic acid, I make sure that the decline with age just disappears, and then you can stick with what you have. So build up in 1 month every day, and then I would think, and we still have to see because I haven't tried it yet, but I would think 1 box a month, that should be pretty good. And of course, if you're maybe more dry skin, you may take it a bit longer. If you're much younger, maybe you don't even need it that high level. But don't underestimate. It's cool for the skin, for people working out and doing sports. It is beneficial for all of them. Okay,
Yeah.
it is just a much better absorption because we use the low molecular weight that brings it in better to the gut, and it distributes it whatever it's needed. Um, we
Yeah.
have to learn. I mean, the first research shows fantastic results, but now we have to see in the field with people from young ages, from middle and older ages, what it does. So please send me information on what your results are on the product. Take pictures before and after, and whatever you can do. Let me know what you experience with the joints and other benefits in the gut. And I think we have some hell of a healthy aging product new into the program. What do you think?
I think you summarized it very well. We are so proud that we were able to make this quite unique product, and we are so sure that this combined the Ecology Booster with Ecology Marine, Collagen Premium Plus together is dynamite. And as Erik said, we are also so proud to see all the healthy business partners and healthy customer we have in Ecology. So combining these products with a happy and good lifestyle is really something that we are happy to see, and we would like to offer to more people. So please use the product, be enthusiastic, and we are looking forward to see pictures, a lot of good pictures after the experience with the product.
Yes.
Erik, thanks you again for an excellent going through thing, and looking forward to see you soon again, and that happens to be tomorrow. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.